Hello everyone and welcome back to Angels Franchise. So I saw your comments on the last video, and with the Angels struggling on their start, with Mike Trout continuing to regress at a horrible rate, most of the comments suggested that it is just time to blow it up. And I think I agree. The Angels need to blow it up, be really bad for probably a couple of seasons, get some really good draft picks, and then just kind of start from scratch. The interesting thing though is that you'd think we'd actually have a pretty good starting point. We've got some young players that have a pretty wide open window. I mean, Zach Neto is only 26, but he's playing horribly. His contact and power against the lefties has regressed a bit. In season 1 of the series, he had very solid numbers. Season 2, he was horrible, genuinely huge regression. And then prior to being sent down to AAA, he had been bad once again to start this year. So I said, enough of it. He has minor league options. We sent him down to AAA, and his numbers here look okay, but his recent games are really, really bad. He's ice cold. In his last 4 games, he only has 1 hit, and you'd think a guy of his caliber would just be absolutely mashing at AAA. And to make matters worse, Gabriel Arias, the man replacing him at shortstop, is playing very well in his place. Still very limited numbers, but they're good numbers, batting a .291 right now, and has had several multi-hit games. And even when he has an off day, he comes back with a 2-hit performance and has been going back and forth like that for about a week now. And then there's Logan O'Hoppe, and I do actually think that he is maybe the truest building block on this team right now. Had a great year last year and is continuing to play pretty well so far this season. We've got him locked up through 2033 on a pretty reasonable contract, especially considering that his true potential is an 89. So he has a lot more growth coming, hopefully in the next 3 years before he turns 30, and then we'll have him pretty deep into his 30s as well. The main issue with him is he's just not a great hitter against lefties, but he's a pretty good defensive catcher and he's great against righties. There's also Joe Adell, who had a little bit of a breakout last season, though the numbers don't necessarily suggest that, but for a lot of the year he was very good last year, continuing to have pretty similar numbers to this point this season, but he is regressing actually in basically every way. And the reason for that is because his true potential is an 81. He is at his potential. This is the player that Joe Adell is. It's a pretty solid one, don't get me wrong. I don't hate having him on the team, but I just don't necessarily think he's that much of a building block either. The Pete Alonso signing felt like a smart one, moving off of Nolan Schanuel, but it has backfired so far as he is batting below a 200 and really only seems to be capable of hitting home runs when he does make contact. Shane Bieber is cold. We brought him in to be kind of the true ace of this team. His numbers aren't great, but they're not horrible to start the season. There's a lot of players we can trade away here, but the biggest question mark, of course, is Mike Trout. And my question to you guys is, what trade would necessarily even be reasonable or realistic for Trout at this point? My answer to you is that there really just isn't anything. I think we're just stuck with Trout until he does choose to retire, and he'll just be eating away at our budget with that $35.5 million per year. I think in reality, the only way that he would be traded is if we ate like 50% of his remaining contract, which in MLB The Show, there's not a way to do that. Like even in the edit player screen, if I wanted to help a team out that we traded him to and kind of game the system a little bit, I can't even adjust the salary in here. It is just what it is. But the biggest issue right now with blowing it up is just the lack of depth we have in the farm system to make up for blowing it up. Like pitching, I'm not that worried about. We could trade Bieber, we could trade Soriano, we could trade John Means, and then we've got some younger guys that I think are more than capable of starting. Catchers, we've of course got O'Hoppe. Ricardo Perez could possibly come up and play first base if we need to. Ryan Noda can play first base for us right now. Hunter Goodman's playing very well at AAA. He could come up probably. We've of course got Gabriel Arias already with the team, so he can continue playing. Kyron Paris or even Christian Moore, but no matter where I put Christian Moore, he just continues to play poorly. We definitely do not have a third baseman that is ready. The closest guy is Eric J, who right now is playing okay at AA. Nothing crazy, but nothing terrible. Of course, there is Zach Neto. We have Willie Castro locked up for the next 4 years, but he would also be a very good trade piece, being that he's 80 overall and about to hit 30. There's Kingery, who I think could play, but he's seeing some significant regression. I actually think that Kjerstad could be on this team for a while. He's only 28. He has B potential, so he'll grow even a little bit more, so he can stick around. DeLauder, I think we have proven, is just really not ready to be at the majors with the hitting attributes specifically. He's playing very well at his time at AAA, however. So if we do blow it up, some of these guys are going going to have to get called up, and they're just going to have to play, and they're going to have to deal with the fact that maybe they aren't ready, which is kind of why I was hoping to have this sort of 2-year window and then blow it up after that. Of course, it's not over yet. Maybe we go on a tear in the next month and suddenly we are contending maybe for a wild card. But right now, just a little under 500, 5.5 back in the AL West. Also, just want to note that any of these guys that we picked up in free agency, like Pete Alonso, cannot be traded until after June 15th. So even if I wanted to blow it up right now, I technically can't with a lot of the guys that we just got. We could, of course, trade a guy like Ryan McMahon because he was acquired via trade and not via a signing. So today's episode is going to get us past that point, and then we're going to reevaluate. So they've got a little less than a month, about 3 weeks. And if the team really just starts going on a win streak and we start playing very well, then, you know, maybe we wait until next season to fully blow it up just so that we get this one extra year of a little bit more development for those guys in the farm system. Or if they're continuing to play super poorly, we will just blow it up right away and just get in as many prospects as humanly possible. Let's go ahead and start that sim. Well, I started the sim and immediately the Angels picked it up. It's like they heard our words and know that we're trying to get rid of the team if they continue to play poorly, winning 4 of the last 5. And now we're on to another week of scouting. So scouting has arguably gotten more important than ever. We've found a starting pitcher that is really, really good in Alexis Valenzuela. He is the Angels draft rank 4. The big concern with him is that the pitch control is just going to be bad to start, and it looks like it's never going to be that great. And we have discovered a new prospect in Aaron Whalen. Without any scouting having been done yet, he is our number 1 draft rank. He is tiny, 5'7", sub 160 weight, 21 years old, but looks to obviously be incredible at everything. That is with the scouting progress at 20%. So take that with a grain of salt. But so far, I think our favorite player that is fully scouted is Theodore Pittenger, who does look genuinely very, very good. You might be wondering why we're trying to take a third baseman after taking Eric J last year. Well, Pittenger can actually play the corner of the infield. So in my mind, he's maybe the first baseman of the future on the opposite side of the infield from Eric J. And the fact that his fielding and his arm strength is not good either really kind of backs that up. So we are, of course, going to scout Aaron Whalen. We're going to see if he really is the player that the Angels franchise thinks he is. There's also another outfielder, center fielder Sammy Hidalgo. Looks like he's going to be way more of a project, but he is Angels draft rank 36. These not ranked guys are kind of the way to go, I think, in MLB The Show's 25. So the Angels now above 500, 29 and 28. And now we find ourselves about 3 games over 500. And now might be a good time to take a look at some stats. Like, is Pete Alonso starting to play better? Well, average is back over 200 at least. So I guess the answer is on a technicality, yes. What about Zach Neto at AAA? Well, he can't even hit at AAA right now. 222 average. The dude just has the yips or something. I don't know what to do about Zach Neto. I'm going to be honest. At this point, I got to send him down to AA maybe. It's been a little over a month at AAA and he is just struggling. He did just have a multi-hit game. Maybe that's going to get him back on track. So I think maybe I give him like another week or so, see how it goes. But I mean, just a bunch of zeros down the board. He should be raking at AAA. He is so much better than the pitchers down there. Logan O'Hoppe has heard my cries for help and is playing incredibly right now, which is so fantastic to see with all of the bad luck I feel like we've had with all these players. Look at these recent games for Logan O'Hoppe, the past 4 in particular, even dating back to the end of May, he was playing really well. Just on a tear right now. Logan O'Hoppe, thank you so much. I really needed that boost from Logan O'Hoppe. And Mike Trout, who has now regressed down to an 81, is playing a bit better as well. George Valera is playing quite well in his new starting center field role, and Heston Kjerstad is one of the other guys playing relatively well right now. A lot of cold guys, like Arias has now gone cold after having a hot start after taking over for Neto. Castro's cold, and Alonso, of course, is maybe the worst free agent signing in history. Aaron Whalen is now 100% scouted, and he looks like an absolute stud. My goodness, Aaron Whalen. Not a power guy. Huge contact and immediately. Vision and discipline is going to be great immediately. And he is a great fielder with a strong arm with decent speed and high stealing. Aaron Whalen might be the future of the Angels. He's our draft rank 1. If anyone else finds this guy, there's a chance he's not falling to 11, but I think I know who I'm taking if he does. So now we have 3 not ranked guys in our top 4 with Pittenger, with Valenzuela, and with Whalen. So depending on how how things fall, this could be such an incredible draft class for us. I just have to hope that no other teams have discovered these players, which admittedly I think is unlikely. But my current game plan is to take Waylon at 11 and then hope that Pittenger falls to 51. Or at that point, we could also take Valenzuela, though admittedly I'm less interested in him. I don't like his attributes as much. So the 33 and 30 Angels will continue to simulate. And with that week in the books, we are back to our losing ways, 34 and 35. Let's check on Zach Neto once again. So I think I was right to let him continue after that 2-hit game because he really has brought it back since then. Didn't get a hit in the next game, but then has had several multi-hit games since. And Arias has continued to get colder and colder, so it's probably getting close to time to call Neto back up. And for what it's worth, by the way, if we do trade Pete Alonso, which is looking increasingly likely, Ryan Noda is playing really well in his appearances, so I think we're in decent hands. His attributes are honestly very solid, as well as the fact that we do have Hunter Goodman, who is seeing some huge progression so far, especially in contact against lefties this season. And guys, we just can't stop hitting with these not ranked prospects right now in scouting. Tyler McCall, draft rank 7 for the Angels. Another guy that I'm not crazy about though, because the pitch control and walks per 9 are really bad, and that's just a bad mix for players that need to develop. We are officially past June 15th. The Angels are 38 and 35. We are 3 games over 500. We're only 1 game back of the Mariners. We are currently though 3 games back of the wild card, as I guess the AL West is just struggling so far. So while we are above 500, while we could maybe push for a wild card spot, it's looking incredibly unlikely. I mean, it's more likely for us to win the division at this point than it is for us to make the wild card. I once again find myself face to face with the Cleveland Guardians. If you recall, this is where we got DeLauder from, and I think there's an argument to this point that that trade hasn't worked out, though DeLauder still does have some time to develop as only a 25-year-old. But the Guardians, they need a first baseman. They are right in the mix with the Twins and the Tigers, 4.5 games back in the Central, and currently in the wild card, but need a little bit of a boost to maybe keep their season going. They have also recently lost Chris Sale to an injury, and the veteran is aging. He will be out for the next 1 to 2 months, and they could use a new starting pitcher. So that is why we will be sending them Pete Alonso and John Means, a quality starter and a elite first baseman with top end power, who is starting to play better, by the way. His recent games are so much better. And in return, we will be taking Travis Bazzana. He is a second baseman prospect that can play pretty much anywhere and has sort of just been forgotten about in the Guardian system while they've been trying to contend for a championship with Jose Ramirez. And the acquisition of Ha-Sung Kim in the offseason, I think, has really made their roster capable of going on that run if they can get a better first baseman and some starting pitching help with the Sale injury. So we are sending them that. We're sending them a starting pitcher. We're sending them a first baseman. We're getting Bazzana in return, which will really help out our future. And the trade is done. And what I was looking for when trading away Pete Alonso was finding somebody who is young and can be a part of this future, but is also capable of playing at the majors today, which I think is exactly what Bazzana brings to the table. He does still have 5 more years of team control, but only 1 more minor league option. So he basically just needs to stay at the majors, and I think he is ready to do just that. What that does do, though, is potentially make Christian more expendable, because Bazzana plays his position. He does also play a lot of other positions, and Moore only plays second. And so now we got to figure out who takes over in the rotation. Well, I think the answer is obvious. It's Jack Hanowicz. Played really well for us these last couple of seasons. Is still playing really well for us out of the bullpen this season. The man deserves to be a starting pitcher. And so he is once again back in the rotation. As a reminder, his true potential is up to a 75, as agreed upon by you guys in the comments. And then who's going to play first base? Well, the obvious answer is that Ryan Noda will plug in immediately, and we will probably call up Hunter Goodman to be the backup. 1 trade down, probably a few more to go. The blow up has begun. Pete Alonso is gone, but in his place we have added Travis Bazzana, and that is who we will be player locking with today. And the man he has to face first is, of course, Paul Skeens. Of course it is. And here he is, the new second baseman of the future. Honestly, he can play basically anywhere, so we can just plug him in where we need him. So he's the new whatever of the future. He's first pitch swinging against Paul Skeens. and is going to be thrown out at first. Angels in a 1-0 hole, and we get to play the field for the first time with Bazana. The thing about Travis is that he's not the best fielder. Like, he's not horrible, but he's not great. So I think second base is really where he needs to land, because he's not bad enough to be forced to first, but he's not good enough to really play basically anywhere else except maybe the corner outfield positions, as he will throw this man out at first. He leads us off here in the top part of the 5th. Still Paul Skeens, still pitching a gem. First pitch swinging again. I mean, he leaves him in there. I want to swing at him, but maybe I got to be more patient. Now we're on to the top of the 7th. It is still Skeens. He's actually only thrown 73 pitches through 6 2/3. Got a runner on first. Bazana, I mean, it's right down the middle. Tell me not to swing at that. You would swing at that. The 0-2 pitch from Skeens will hit Bazana, and he heads to first. So I'm in a bit of a predicament now because I want to trade Ryan McMahon, and I have a couple players in mind. I have a couple places he could go. So this is hit to third, and that should end the top of the 7th. But also, I don't want to fill in third base for a sort of long-term situation, because we have Eric J, who I think is really only a couple of seasons away from being Major League ready, and he can only play third or short. Well, and that does it. The Pirates shut us out 3-0 over the Angels. Not a good look in Bazana's debut. What a day it was from Brian Bayo as well. Just no run support. 7 innings pitched, only 1 earned run, gave up 5 hits, had 5 strikeouts, no walks. I mean, he went toe-to-toe with Skeens. Of course, Skeens had more strikeouts and ultimately pitched the better game, but that is a great start from Bayo. So I have a couple teams in mind that need a third baseman. One of them is the Diamondbacks, as they have lost Cabrera to a shoulder tear. And even with Cabrera, McMahon was just straight up better than him to begin with. So this is a team that's only about 4 games back of the Dodgers right now. I think it's kind of the first time they've had the Dodgers within striking distance in the first 3 seasons now of this series. So they would be a team I think desperately in search of a third baseman. It's a huge fit. I think they'd also love to get back at the Rockies, who have had McMahon, and they're in the same division. Not that anybody really has to concern themselves with the Rockies these days. And the other team is the Tigers, as they are a team that is very capable of going on a pretty deep run. They did lose Scooble, but they still have a very good starting 5. The issue here is that they don't really have any prospects that I truly want, except for maybe Jace Young. He's a 70 overall with B potential, but he is already 26, so he's a little bit older, and that B potential is an 81. So he's not like a superstar by any means, not that that's necessarily what I'm expecting to get for Ryan McMahon. And they are actually willing to do this straight up. The issue being is that I think I just prefer Eric J as the future third baseman of this team. So I almost need like a bridge third baseman. And McMahon is obviously not that because he's a loner. This is the last year of his contract. I don't want to bring him back. Personally, I think I'm a little bit more interested in what the Diamondbacks have to offer, but it also sort of presents the same situation. We of course just traded for Bazana. In theory, Neto is the future of shortstop. These shortstops can play other positions, like Jordan Lawler can play third, but does that not just give us the same issue that I just talked about? McGonigal can play short or second, but again, the same issue. They're kind of just filling roles that don't need to be filled. I guess we could always move Bazana to like a corner outfield position in the future. But also the Diamondbacks don't love doing either of these 2 trades. We need to give them a little bit more. They're just not interested in giving up these players, despite the fact that they have Perdomo, who is only 27. So another player I could get is Drew Jones, and the bar is dead even. They do want a little bit more. We could basically just throw in any reliever and they would agree to sending us Drew Jones. And is this the center fielder that maybe I've been looking for? He has great speed. He's a very solid fielder with a good arm. But again, it sort of just feels like another Chase DeLauder, where his bat maybe isn't quite ready, but he is 2 years younger, and I think I would argue a touch better than DeLauder is currently. Ultimately, this is the trade I have landed on. We're giving up Ryan McMahon, a third baseman that they desperately need, especially due to the injury to Oswaldo Cabrera. They get Chase Silseth, a starting pitcher who is very capable. He's a 78 overall. He has just continued to play not very well for us, and I think needs a change of scenery, but the potential is there for him to be a quality player. I don't know necessarily how much he's a starter with the 63 stamina, but that is up for them to decide, and he would actually slot in as their 4th starter. We, in return are getting a left field true prospect type of guy, 18-year-old Albert Gonzalez, who has quite a ways to go before he's major league ready, but looks like a really fun player. And then they also will get a good reliever in Hans Kraus, who is only 28 years old. So the Diamondbacks get some pieces to go chase down the Dodgers. We get some pieces that they're not currently starting and that will help our future tremendously. So welcome to the team, Drew Jones, Albert Gonzalez, and goodbye, Ryan McMahon, Silseth, and Kraus. Trade is done. The blow up is upon us. Albert Gonzalez's true potential, by the way, is 81. So it's not like the guy is the most immaculate player on the planet. Drew Jones's true potential is also 81. So these are just like quality starters at the MLB level. It's not like we are stealing the best prospects in the world. And the nice thing about this with Drew Jones joining the team is that means that there is no pressure to bring DeLauder back up, who is starting to struggle a little bit at AAA. His recent games are honestly not too bad. He was on a bit of a hitting streak before not getting any against OKC, but some of his numbers are dropping still. DeLauder's true potential is an 83, so he does technically have a higher ceiling than Jones, but is already a couple of years older. So now our outfield prospects are honestly looking very, very good with DeLauder, Jones, Honeycutt, and then deeper into the future, Albert Gonzalez, Orville Samuel, and maybe Nelson Rada, who I will remind you is only 21 years old. And so that means that Castro goes back to playing third this season. And I think it is time for Zach Neto to rejoin the MLB squad. His AAA stats admittedly are not the best, not quite batting a 250, but his recent performances have been really, really good. He has gotten hot at AAA, and we're going to bring him back up to the majors because Gabriel Arias has started to play poorly. Now, Neto, welcome back to the major leagues. And now we got to decide what reliever is coming up to the majors, and I'm really, really tempted to have it be Jason Emerson. I think he is honestly ready to be at the majors, but he's pitching really well at AAA. He's improving. I just don't want to risk it. There's no rush to bring him up necessarily. We probably just want to be as bad as possible for the rest of this year. So the guy I'm actually bringing up is going to be Connor Brogdon. We lost 2 righty relievers. We need to bring up 2 righty relievers, and Brogdon is one of those guys. Although he's not on the 40-man, so let me do that first. The other man getting called up to be a reliever is a starter. It's Michael Darrell Hicks. He's 29, not a significant part of this future. I don't really mind if he just plays terribly at the majors. So here is what the roster looks like now. As weird as it is, Ryan Noda is going to lead off against righties. I know his contact and his power, not insane against righties, but that 99 discipline, I'm really hoping that the man can just get on base. If he gets to first, hopefully Trout can put him over to second. Adele then hits him home with the high batting clutch. That's the idea anyway. Hoppy will bat 4th, and then Heston Kjerstad at 5th. Neto back in the lineup. He will bat 6th against righties. Against lefties, I've got him back to the top of the order. His contact against lefties, by the way, guys, used to be a 99. It is actually insane how bad this man has gotten at hitting lefties. It's just regressed like crazy. I'm hoping that he can get that going again. He still has the best contact against lefties on the team, even after all that regression. Then it's mostly the same. Trout, Adele, Hoppy. Goodman is going to play against lefties. He's got better contact than Noda does. He's hitting lefties very well, or at least he was at AAA, and he's got big time power. Kjerstad 6, Castro 7, Bazana 8, and Jones 9. Castro switches from playing second base so far this year back over to third base where he played for us last season. Arias heads back to the bench. Noda and Goodman are interchangeable. Torrens still the backup catcher, though he will likely be traded this season. Hilliard and Valera backup outfielders. The new pitching rotation is mostly the same. Bieber, Soriano, Hanowicz plugs in, Bayo 4, Detmers 5. And then for the pitchers, Brogdon and Ashby will be the long relievers. I've seen the comments about wanting to get Ashby more pitching, and I think that's valid. So he becomes a long reliever despite the lack of stamina. And then the setup guy is Victor Gonzalez, and the closer, of course, is Ben Joyce. With Darrell Hicks moving up to the MLB level, that leaves a AAA starter spot available. And I think that's going to go to Dave Williams. Has continued to just have solid numbers at AA. He's improving in every way. Stamina has gone down very slightly, but I think he is ready for that jump up to AAA, and it is time for Dave Williams to join the Bees. With all of that out of the way, it is time to do some more scouting. Tyler McCall is fully scouted. He is up to our draft rank 4. The pitch control has actually come up a lot in the scouting we've done on him, which does mean I'm more inclined to take him. I still don't love that the walks per 9 is poor, but looks like he's going to have really high potential as only an 18-year-old and with not the most horrendous starting overall. It's probably going to be somewhere in the 50s if I had to guess. But another lefty starter, Tyler McCall, might be just what we need. Sammy Hidalgo is also done being scouted. He is our draft rank 36, a guy that maybe we can take quite a bit later in the draft. A center fielder with good speed, looks to lack an arm, and is really a big time project. So 4 of our top 5 ranked players are not ranked. Pittenger, Valenzuela, Whalen, and now Tyler McCall. It is time for the return of Zach Neto, the debut as an Angel for Drew Jones. The Angels looking a lot different, getting closer and closer to the MLB draft. And I think the main story for the Angels right now is the recent play of Logan O'Hoppe. He is red hot, trying to prove that he is the true superstar of this team's future. Here is the man, the myth, the legend, Zach Neto. His numbers so far this season at the MLB level, absolutely horrible. Has just returned from a stint at AAA, where he's been for a little over a month now at this point. Did not play overly well at AAA, but has been on a roll as of late, so he's gotten the call back up. Rounder up the middle. Is Zach Neto going to get doubled up in his return? He is in his first plate appearance. Out in the field now with Neto. Shane Bieber on the mound for the Angels today. He's another guy we could look to deal if we want to. He is tied up for a number of years, though, but it is a relatively expensive contract. I think it's $20.1 per year. And now Bieber's got us down 0-3. Not that the offense is being particularly helpful. Neto late on the fastball. Neto crushes this one left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. It's off the top of the foul pole and back into play. Welcome back, Zach Neto. That was a bomb. Only his second home run on the season. If that doesn't tell you how much he was struggling, I don't know what will, as Neto crushes one and gives a run to the Angels. I'm curious the distance. I didn't get to see it. It was, yeah, pretty high up on that foul pole. That is crazy. Another appearance for Neto. It is now 2-3. See if we can continue to get those numbers up for him. Runner on first, 2 gone in the inning. That one is also crushable. I'm a little late on it, and it looks like he's just going to fly out to right field. It was hit fairly well. I think if I got around on that a bit more, that could have been the second home run of the day. Top of the 8th, getting to crunch time. Neto with a runner in scoring position. Has some good batting clutch compared to others on this team. Looks at strike 1. No way. Dude, can I ever get a call in MLB The Show 25? That's crazy. And now I'm just swinging at garbage. He messed me up. You sure that one's not a strike ump? This is straight to shortstop. Neto will ground out harmlessly to end the top part of the 8th. And the Pirates will go on to defeat the Angels 3-2 in Zach Neto's return. And I am eyeing that game on the 28th against Cleveland to jump into a full game. So let's go ahead and sim this week, see how this new Angels roster looks, and then we'll jump into that game against Cleveland. So a series loss 3-1 against the Tigers, though we did outscore them in the series due to an explosion in game number 1. And now we've won back-to-back against the Athletics. So we're still actually 2 games above 500 for what it's worth. Man, and we end up getting clobbered in the final game against the Athletics. Hanowicks with a loss. And we'll just check on how Neto's doing. And look at that. He is actually bringing those numbers up. He's up to a 220 average. And in his recent games since returning, he has a hit in almost all of them. All but 2 of them, as a matter of fact. And a couple multi-hit games in here as well. So Neto's playing well. He's getting RBIs. He's hit a couple homers. In fact, 3 homers. So hopefully he is back to form. We're going to see that average climb up to around 250, I think is what would be ideal for Neto. Keep it decent. Travis Bazzana, since taking over as the everyday second baseman, is playing very well. Noda has continued to be hot, as has Logan O'Hoppe. Mike Trout is just getting worse and worse, and his average is falling more and more. But like I said at the top of the episode, I just don't really think there's anything we can do about it. I don't think there is a world where we can make a trade happen that is even remotely realistic. I mean, let me know in the comments. I could make a trade happen. Obviously, there is some team out there that is stupid enough to make the trade. Like if I just throw Trout in here and I do find trade, there's going to be options. So like basically every team would take him for something. You know, I'm just spamming R1, obviously. We very clearly can't get a lot in return for an aging superstar. And I just don't think it's realistic that in reality, any team would ever trade for him at this point. Back-to-back torn ACLs, the regression is insane. He's not playing well this season. It doesn't make sense to me. But if you guys want me to, let me know in the comments. We'll make something happen. Or give me suggestions on ways to make it realistic. So now the Angels face off against the Guardians, the team that we just traded Pete Alonso to and stole Travis Bazzana away from. Guardians looking to win their division. The Angels looking to blow it up. So here we go. It is Brian Bayo on the mound today. He faces Ahmed Rosario, and he will line out to Willie Castro to start our day. Steven Kwan goes down on strikes. That's a nasty sinker from Bayo. Now here is Jose Ramirez, now 34 years old. Still about a 96 overall. Regression probably going to start kicking in for him pretty soon, but still a very capable player, and he proves it here. Bayo leaves a changeup hanging, and Ramirez punishes. The long ball to start the scoring today. Bayo just missed his spot. I wanted bottom left corner. He left that top middle. Basically, anyone's going to crush that thing. And now here is Pete Alonso. His average is up to a 212, so it is continuing to climb even after leaving the Angels, where I believe he had a 208 during the trade. Down 1-2 to Bayo and his former team. Fouls it off. And this is grounded to third. Castro with plenty of time. Alonso not particularly fast. And there is Hunter Goodman playing first today in place of Ryan Noda. Luis Ortiz on the mound for the Guardians today. Not good numbers from him so far this season. Hopefully this new look Angels roster can take advantage. And leading off today is Bazzana. Normally Noda leading off from this spot against righties. He's getting the day off today. So Bazzana, who has been playing very well, getting that opportunity. In the first pitch he sees, he will match Jose Ramirez. Sends it into the seats against his former team, and the Angels have tied this one up off of the bat of the new second baseman. Only 24 years old, lots of team control. The future looking bright maybe now for the Angels. That brings up Mike Trout, a shell of his former self at this point, only batting a 227 so far this year. On the bright side, he has stayed healthy, knock on wood, as we have not seen any injuries at all, minor or otherwise. And he will strike out looking on a fastball around the knees. And now it is Joe Adell, and he is such a fascinating case because he is a solid player, but he also could be decent trade bait. Do we include him in the blow-up? He is 27 years old. That is the same age as Logan O'Hoppe. O'Hoppe, of course, though, with almost an A potential, 89 potential for O'Hoppe, only 81 for Adell. So their ceilings are quite a bit different. Adell is at his ceiling right now. And he needs an extension this year as well. And I'm not entirely sure what he's asking for as he goes down swinging. And here is Logan O'Hoppe, who did already sign his extension. We've got him locked up for basically the rest of his career and his entire prime. And I'm really excited about that. He's up to an 84 overall. Wish he was a little bit better against lefties, but he is a solid enough fielder. He's good against righties. That is high, middle. O'Hoppe got a hold of it, but not enough of one. That'll end the first. But Travis Bazzana against his former team hits a homer. Big Christmas to the plate. Got to be the best nickname in baseball, at least, maybe even in sports. And he is staying patient. He's worked the count 3-1. Bayo's pitch misses badly, but Noel chases. We're going to give him the fastball again. That is right down the middle. Noel gets a good piece of hitting the opposite way. It will bounce over the short wall and right. That'll be an automatic double. A leadoff double. Bo Naylor chases the circle change. Bazana gets to show off the arm this time. Not the most accurate throw, but an out is an out is an out. And this one, we could go home with Bazana, but he's going to get nobody. That was a mistake. I tried to keep it tied at 1. Should have taken the out at first. Thankfully, that does not count as an error for my stupid decision. Really thought maybe we could get him. Maybe if Bazana had a stronger arm, but we might just get out of it. Bazana, accurate throw, gets the runner at first. Heston Kjerstad, his future a little unknown with the team as well. Similar age to a guy like Joe Adell. I believe he's a year older at 28. He becomes a free agent next season, and he's going to want a decent chunk of change, I'd have to assume. Very solid player, strong arm out of the outfield, not a bad fielder, decent speed. Really nothing to complain about with Heston Kjerstad, but he is obviously just sort of an everyday starter type of guy. No big-time star power here necessarily. Not that you always need that type of thing. It's just I feel like what you're always looking for. So he grounds back up the middle. Is he going to be able to beat out this play? He will, as Rosario can't get a glove on it at second. And I believe that will count as an infield hit for Kjerstad. And now Zach Neto. Will the struggles continue for him the rest of the year? Will he figure it out? Well, he gets one to hit here. Well struck deep to left center field. And it's over the fence. Another homer for the Angels. And it's Zach Neto for the second time this episode. A big fly, his 5th on the season. He appears to be getting hot after a much-needed stint at AAA. Bad last season, bad spring training, bad to start this year. Got hot at AAA, and now hopefully the Neto we know and love is back. And we need him as he is now one of the older veterans on this team as we're beginning to trade away older and older guys. Willie Castro now to the plate, and why am I swinging at that? Castro going to ground out to short, and that is one gone. Here's Hunter Goodman. He is also an interesting guy to talk about. He's only 27. He's a 73 overall. He has low B potential. Like, does he have a significant role on this team? He can play first. He can play catcher. Admittedly, I don't think he's a very good catcher as he gets this one into center field for a single. To me, Goodman is like purely a first baseman. So really depends on if he develops into a bit of a better hitter. He's already got great power. Here's Drew Jones. This is the first time we're seeing him this episode. Jones popped sky high opposite field. Under it is the right fielder, out number 2. And then back to the top of the order with Travis Bazana, who is red hot since joining the Angels. With that home run, he's up to a 367 batting average. Obviously, extremely limited sample size so far. Oh, I thought they left another one for him. Bazana is one of the most balanced players I've ever seen. He's just not bad at anything, and he's not elite at anything, or even really like great at anything. He's just pretty good at everything, as that throw will get him to end the second. Strike 3 for Schneemann. The sinker for Bayo really working today, but it is kind of the only pitch that has been working consistently, and as I say that, he misses terribly. I think Bayo was also a fantastic pickup. I think he could be a long-term part of this starting rotation. And that's ball 4 to Rosario. Also only 27. He's got somewhere in the B's of potential, and he is signed to, I think, a pretty good contract for the next 4 seasons. So to me, he is a pretty integral part of what is becoming a sort of new rebuild. They're saying that is a fair ball. Kjerstad chasing it down. They're sending the runner from third to home. Neto need a strong throw. It's not in time, and we are tied up. The streak of 1 run per inning continuing for Brian Bayo. I think that might have been foul. Did it hit the bag? Someone explain to me this rule, because to me, it's fair here before the bag, but then ultimately lands foul past the bag. I would have assumed that's a foul ball, but maybe I'm wrong about that, because it's, I guess, technically on the fair line right here. Is that why the ump called this fair? I looked it up, and per the rules, that is the correct call, unfortunately, as this is going to be a double play for Hunter Goodman. Snags it out of the air and tags the man out. We're tied up at 3. Trout hits one on a line to center. An easy play there, but man, he got a hold of that. Adele pops one way up, just past the infield. Rosario underneath it. That should be out number 2, and it is. Logan O'Hoppe gets a hold of one. Stay fair. It twists foul. Oh, man. I was looking to keep it hot for O'Hoppe. I missed one. He gets another one to hit, and it's hit pretty well again, but at the right fielder. Strike 3 swinging on Pete Alonso, our former teammate, though not for very long. This is grounded to third. Castro can't make the diving play, and Big Christmas will reach with a single. Will the streak of giving up a run every inning continue for Brian Bayo? Well, goodness, he misses badly with the sinker, if that's any indication. And this is going to go through into center field. Jones is there, and the runner will hold at second. This is grounded to Castro at third. On to Bazana, and we get the double play to end the top of the 4th. So only 3 runs allowed so far. He ends the streak of 4 innings being 4 runs. Instead, it's only 3. Not exactly the best start either. Aaron Judge on pace for 57 homers. This MLB News and Notes thing, such a great add to the game. This is popped to left, heading foul. Would have fallen fair, but is caught in play anyway. Neto, a little blooper. Will this get over Rosario's head? No, he chases that down, out number 2 in the 4th. Swing and a miss for Castro. That'll end the 4th inning. So the bleeding has stopped for both teams. Now tied at 3, as maybe we can settle in. Bayo is really not pitching well with that circle change. O'Hoppe calls for it again for some reason. So to Lane Thomas. Jesus, I think we're done with the circle change. Soft grounder to second. Bazana, no problem there. And this is hard hit to third, but an easy play for Castro. And another soft grounder to Bazana at second. Been busy today. Gets another one. That ends the top of the 5th. 1, 2, 3 go the Guardians. Hunter Goodman misses one right down the middle. He's got good power, as I've mentioned, but just got underneath that one. And after that, they are pulling the pitcher. I'm surprised. Ortiz is replaced by Carlos Vargas, who also is not having the best of seasons. Look at his average versus right-handed batters. And the next man just so happens to be a right-handed batter. It is Drew Jones, the new center fielder. Vargas's pitch is going to be tipped out of the air. Can he make the play? Jones is out at first. Vargas is injured, though, as that one, I guess, hit him in the head. It wasn't super hard hit, but I mean, a baseball is going to hurt when it hits you in the head no matter what. So Vargas faces one batter and then has to leave, and it's Yusei Kikuchi, the former Angel. Gosh, we trade too much with the Guardians, but they needed players to help them pursue a World Series. We need help in terms of prospects and just a match made in heaven. So the former Angel faces the former Guardian. Bazana already having homered today, looking for another one. Oh, man, and Kikuchi gave it to him, but he missed it. He's underneath it. Back, still going back, actually. Man, that's almost got out of here anyway. Bazana with maybe some sneaky power. Bayo 4 now will continue into the 6th. This at bat with Kwan will determine how much further he is able to go. And that is hard hit to Castro, but another play is going to be made. Jose Ramirez homering earlier. And that is going to be a base hit, as we were in a little bit of a shift. Neto was behind second, not in his normal spot. Oh, wow, our bullpen is dead tired. Here comes Aaron Ashby. You guys want to see more of him? I will deliver just that. And he faces Pete Alonso, and you just know that Pete wants to crush one. Well, we gave him one to crush. He did not swing. Full count to Pete Alonso. Ashby's pitch is left way up, and he did get one. Kerstad's not going to make it in time, and it is a liner out of here. Pete Alonso gets his revenge, homering off of Aaron Ashby, who missed his location with the off-speed pitch. That was on a rope, just a rocket out of here. Well, we don't exactly have much of our bullpen available at the moment. Everyone is very tired. So Ashby will have to continue at least for a little bit. Got Noel looking. And a walk for Ashby. Struggling to place pitches right now. Pitcher getting tired, but I mean, I don't really have much of a choice. This is grounded to second. Bazana once again busy and once again makes the play. But a home run from the former Angel, Pete Alonso. So 5-3 now for the Guardians, and it is another former Angel, Yusei Kikuchi, that Trout has to face, and this will not get down. Trout's struggles continue. That one was a little bit outside, but nearly a base hit, as wow, that is way inside for Joe Adell. Adell gets one to hit, and that is a moonshot. Still going back as the left fielder, but he's in front of the warning track, and that is out number 2. There's been pitches to hit, and we are just popping them way, way up today. Oh, Hoppy, grounder to short. That should end the second with a good throw. The second, it's the 6th. I don't know what I'm talking about. Daryl Hicks will take over. He has at least a decent bit of stamina and is also a starter, so his stamina is a bit higher, his actual stamina rating, I mean. So he might be able to finish this one out for us, or hopefully we can take the lead and Ben Joyce can get a save. That would be the most ideal world, but Daryl Hicks gets 2 easy outs to start. Rosario pops this one to right, Adell underneath it. 3 up, 3 down go the Guardians. Clean inning of work for Michael Daryl Hicks. That is called strike 3. I mean, gosh, if I could get those calls more frequently from the ump, I wouldn't be complaining. It touches the corner. It's technically in there. Zach Neto gets one to hit, and he's going to have a multi-hit game in this one. Hit it almost too hard, but will still be able to leg out the double. A soft little chopper for Castro to short. Play is made, and the Guardians will make another pitching change. So it is Cade Smith versus Hunter Goodman, and we might make a change here. No, honestly, we won't. Goodman has good batting clutches to 70, which is replacing his hitting numbers right now, so I don't mind this at all, actually, for Hunter Goodman. Another soft little chopper. Can Goodman beat out the throw? No. So Zach Neto's double is wasted. Daryl Hicks will continue into the top of the 8th. And he gets one into play again. The infield has been busy, but they've been getting it done. And another one for Bazana. Eventually he's going to make a throwing error, right? Strike 3 swinging. Daryl Hicks impressing in his series debut. Ball 4 for Bazana. He will reach. And now we just need Mike Trout to do literally anything, to be honest. Trout, grounder to third. He's going to get doubled up. Oh, Mike. Where's my MVP gone? Top of the 9th. Daryl Hicks will continue. He's looked very impressive in his 2 innings of work thus far. And he gets Noel to look silly. Bazana, yet again, a busy man. How many putouts has he had? Now Castro will stay busy in the infield. Out number 3. So here we go. The bottom of the 9th, led off by Joe Adell, and it's Emmanuel Clase on the mound. One of the best closers in baseball. And this is going to be out number 1. Joe Adell will not reach. His cutter being 100 miles per hour is just not fair. That thing is nasty. Oh, Hoppy got one at the top of the zone, hits it opposite way, but not enough on it. And a pop-up for Kjerstad is going to end the game. 5-3 is your final. The Guardians win the trade. That's official. That is what wins the trade. This is the first game you face off against each other afterwards. No, I still think the trades are obviously very good. They have a lot of players from us now that will help them contend in the short term. We have stolen some players from them that will hopefully help us contend in the long term. I am especially a big fan of Bazana. Oh, but we actually go on to win the series 3-1, including a shutout in game number 2. Trout getting a couple hits. You'll love to see it. Bazana in this series was disgusting. Of course, had the homer in the first game with us, then had a hit and 2 walks in game 2. 2 hits, 2 runs in game number 3, and 2 hits and a run scored in game 4. The guy just cannot stop getting multi-hit games. So we're about to the All-Star break. The Angels are actually still in the hunt in the AL West, technically. For some reason, the Mariners are not pulling away. The Rangers are having a down year, and the Astros are absolutely miserable this season. So technically speaking, the Angels are still in it to win the division. We are 3.5 back of the wild card and 4 back of the West, of the Mariners in the West, rather. A lot of our team, though, is dead cold. Ohapi has unfortunately gone cold, but still batting close to a 280. Castro and Trout are cold. Adele, Kjerstad, Arias, I mean, who isn't cold? Neto is hot, though, and he has got his average back up to a 246, 24 RBIs, back like he never even left. But I think the current man to watch right now is Bazana, who I actually did hit the first home run for on the season, and to this point, the only home run on the season. He is on fire right now. 362, 444, 596 with a 1,000 OPS, 6 walks, 7 strikeouts. Still very early so far in the season, but he is cooking. And you know what? To his credit, Ryan Noda has also been playing incredibly well since taking over first base duties. He also has a 1,000 OPS. We are unironically playing better since making those trades, thanks to Bazana and Noda. And Terren's off the bench has been really good, but he has not played very much. Most of our pitchers currently are hot, except for Bayo, who is struggling recently, but our starters are playing quite well. Soriano, Detmers, and Bieber. Jack Kahanowicz, again, very solid numbers for this guy. He never plays bad. It is the weirdest thing. Not the best year to this point for Ben Joyce. His stamina and hit per 9 are falling a little bit, but other things are still increasing. As a reminder, his B potential is in the middle of 80, so there's not much more growth to be had for Ben. Connor Brogdon has been really, really good since getting called up, but has only pitched 6 innings. And Daryl Hicks has been pitching a ton, 18 innings pitched since getting called up, and he's been really good. 3 ERA and a 1 whip. Caden Dana, he is cold right now at AAA, but has been pitching really well this season. Jason Emerson has also been just absolutely electric at AAA. Great stats with a lot of saves. Dave Williams has been fantastic, though it looks like he's only played maybe 2 games, or maybe even just the 1. And Nicholas Diamond has even been pretty decent. But despite the fact that his potential is higher than his overall, he is still seeing regression with his stamina and his K per 9, and is just not really improving. So part of me wants to send him down to AA just to see if he does start improving, but he's playing well enough at AAA for him to be here. Cutter Coffee just continues to impress me. He was playing super, super well at AA, had over a 300 average, so we brought him up to AAA, and he's just picked right up where he left off. It's not a 300 average, but these are still just great numbers, and he's improving in just about every way. Is he a guy that maybe should see a small potential bump? I'm not sure. Christian Moore has brought his bat back to life a little bit. I'm not sure his standing with the team at this point. Bazana is obviously here. Bazana does not have to play second, whereas Moore does, but he is now 24, probably still at least a year away from the majors. Need to see more improvements from him, but it just seems like no matter where I send him, he plays poorly. This is, I think, the best he has really played in his career for us, and he is pretty hot recently. So I'm not going to send him down now that he's finally playing well. Chase DeLauder, unfortunately, not playing particularly well, and his contact against lefties and power against righties is regressing. Other things are still improving, but his AAA numbers are just not there. Might have been just a whiff on this trade. I'm not sure. At AA, Nelson Rada is playing quite well, batting a 257. He is improving a lot this season. His contact against lefties up to a 63. His fielding has gotten better. His clutch, his discipline, his power against lefties. Nelson Rada, I think, a guy to watch to potentially be in the platoon in the future. His true potential is a 74, so he would be, I think, a spot starter at best. Eric J has unfortunately gone cold. He's actually losing some of his power. He's not playing super well, but not super poorly at AA. I would consider him right now our top prospect. He is seeing significant improvements elsewhere outside of power, including a +5 to discipline and a +6 to contact against lefties. Vance Honeycutt, though, is playing very well at AA, batting a 280, 338, 440, and a 777 OPS. And he is improving in literally every way. He's a couple years younger than DeLauder, starting to get to the point where maybe we use DeLauder in a trade deal and Honeycutt kind of becomes one of our future outfielders. I haven't given up on DeLauder just yet. I still like him a lot as a player, but have yet to see a ton of improvement from him. Ricardo Perez got sent down from AAA, where he was struggling big time, batting a sub 200, down to AA, where he is now performing quite a bit better. Could be a future first baseman for this team, has high C potential. To me, he sort of reads as a long-term backup for Logan Ohapi. And then the pitchers down here are all pitching very well as well, except for like Walbert Urena. But there's like, again, maybe 2 guys pitching poorly in the entire organization. Our pitching has just been consistently very good. Richie Batista is improving like crazy with his A potential. He's only 18 years old. He's up to a 68. Our bullpen of the future is looking really, really good. And it's going to be a 3-way three-way fight for who is the actual closer between Joyce, Batista, and Emerson. There's also obviously a couple guys at single A, including one of our top pitching prospects in Andre Dolan. And he's improving quite a bit as well, up to a 62 in the overall department. I still just don't think these attributes are ready for double A. I think he'll get absolutely killed. He can't strike anybody out. He gives up a lot of hits and his pitching clutch is horrible. So I think he's going to just have to stay at single A for a couple of seasons to get specifically, I think, pitching clutch up. There's Orville Samuel, the A potential outfielder. He's up to a 53 overall, but obviously years and years away from being major league ready. And then there's Reggie Jenkins from the first year's draft class. He is up to a 52 at now 19 years old. Alexis Chavez, the B potential shortstop, is up to a 50. And that is it for the main single A prospects. But anyway, that is going to do it for this episode. Let me know what you thought of the trades. I think with previous trades, I was trying a little bit too hard to be very realistic about it. And I took some players in trades that were really just never going to contribute for the team. So I tried to make trades this time. I didn't buy so hard into the realism as much as previously. I still tried to keep it very realistic, but also to be significantly more helpful to the Angels' future. And I think Bazana is a prime example of that. He was one of the better prospects in the Guardians system, and we have obviously taken that away. But I do also think that the Guardians are going to be trying to push for a World Series before Jose Ramirez really starts to fall off now that he is 34 years old. And I think Pete Alonso definitely helps them with that, as does Yusei Kikuchi from a couple of years ago. But again, let me know what you think. Would you have done anything differently? I think we made some pretty good trades today. And in the next episode, we will do the MLB draft. Shout out as always to the channel members, and thank you for your continued support and belief in me. If you do find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. It does help me out a lot. I'll see you guys in the next episode where we'll draft and we'll find out how good those drafted players really are. And we'll blow up the team probably even a little bit further before the deadline.